live. We're going to check in a second, but I will now confirm it. We are live, so hello everyone, and welcome to the Geek Battle show here on the Extreme Improv Extreme YouTube channel, as well as the Geek Battle YouTube channel. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, and we're going to have a fun old time. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about, and yeah, there's a lot of movie news, movie reviews, stuff going on, and I'm sure you guys have got a lot to go on with as well. I have literally just finished watching the first 4 episodes of Terminator Zero, and I have many a thought. If you guys haven't seen it, I won't give spoilers. It doesn't necessarily need spoilers to give some thoughts. But welcome to the Geek Battle show. Say hello to the people. Captain Fabe.
Hey, what's up, dogs? From the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles, it's me, Couple Dave, and this is a fact I just learned. It could be false, but apparently there was going to be a cameo appearance of Hugh Jackman in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. Not sure which one, I think it's the second one. And apparently it's got cancelled because someone lost the Wolverine suit, so they couldn't do it. That was the thing.
That's crazy.
That's correct. That is correct. And I'm going to piggyback off that. Because, hi, I'm Dev, and this is my geek fact. In the Fantastic Four movie, there's a deleted scene where Mr. Fantastic turns into Hugh Jackman.
What's which Fantastic Four movie?
The Jessica Alba one.
Okay. I love how everyone says the Jessica Alba one. That is the only way to distinguish.
Yeah. The scene is, Reed says to Sue, he's like, would you prefer someone rougher? And turns into Hugh Jackman's Wolverine for a second.
Wow. Did they film it?
Yes.
Wow. Dev, I'm going to give you 2 points because you kind of stole Caps there. Right, no, I'm joking. You get 1 point apiece. Right, but with that was Dev. Gerald, say hello to the people.
Hey everybody, I've got a costume-related trivia fact as well. Arnold Schwarzenegger pays $1 per year to Warner Brothers so that he can retain ownership of his Mr. Freeze costume.
I love that fact.
So maybe Hugh Jackman
Seriously?
the suit and left it in a closet somewhere. Yep.
See, I can imagine by about 1997, Arnold was like, look who's playing Batman. You've got the guy from ER. I want to keep my costume, right? And he could just lay down his terms. But, like, that isn't a deal. Oh, I think your food is done, Dave.
My food is done. Just when it's my turn as well.
Gerald, you get a point. Dave, do you want to say your facts and then you can go grab your food?
Yeah, so hello to the people, I am Dave MC, and my geek fact, I've been rewatching the Child's Play series, because I'm going to start the Chucky series at some point. And when I was doing some homework on Child's Play, I found out the original voice actor for the good guy doll, the Chucky doll, was actually not Brad Dourif. It was an actress called Jessica Walter. She was originally the first voice they chose. In an original test screening, they didn't like the voice of Chucky, so then Brad Dourif came back, re-recorded the lines over Jessica Walter, and that's how Brad Dourif really got the voice of Chucky. He was originally supposed to only play Charles Lee Ray. And also, John Franklin from Children of the Corn also makes a cameo in Child's Play, as he is the voice of the good guy mascot in the trailer for the good guy doll itself.
Wow, how about that? That is really cool. So, this is so sad for some people. That's like a whole Eric Stoltz situation. Imagine you record the voiceover for a whole movie. It's like, oh, I'm going to play this horror villain, this killer doll. And you go to see it and you're like, oh, I'm going to kill you. And you then watch it and it's like, you're going to die. It's like, what do they do to my voice? Right.
I have a question, guys, about the Chucky films. I swear I saw this, or it could be a fever dream, where Mark Ruffalo was in it, and also Tommy Wiseau was the guy who was the Chucky. Like, he was the human that got into the Chucky doll.
No.
Is this real?
No.
That's not true, mate.
So
There's some
no, I
odd
can
drugs
explain that
down there in
one.
Sri Lanka.
I can explain that one.
I
Okay, so
don't
I can
know,
explain
like,
that one
I
easily.
swear I saw a
Because-
film where Mark. Yeah,
Okay, here's the mistake you made. Mark Ruffalo is in Curse of Chucky somehow. But the Tommy Wiseau thing is easy. Brad Dourif, the guy who plays Charles D. Ray, looks like Tommy Wiseau.
Mhm.
So it was not a fever dream. Thank you, Dev. Thank you. That's been in my head forever.
I haven't thought about that. We'll have to bring that up on the old screen. But yeah, that's definitely a interesting thought as well. Why
I
is
also
Tom
have to
Wiseau
ask-
not in more movies?
Because he's busy being in London every 6 months.
Yeah, but look, surely people should be putting him in films just like for the novelty of it.
No, he doesn't want to do it unless he has complete control, and
Oh
they don't
yeah,
want to give it to them.
yeah, true. True.
Yeah.
So if he hangs out in London so much, does he hang out with Dev and David?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, hi,
I would-
Dev.
You know what?
Where's,
we should
where's
get
your
into...
belts and
Okay,
chains?
no. David, we need to get into Extreme Improv Live.
Yeah. Oh, Joe, that would be amazing. Yeah, just like
I also have to ask about the Gerald's thing. Like, so in 1987 Batman movie, right? Why didn't Arnold play Bane? Bane was a character in that film. Why didn't Arnold play Bane?
You saw how they did Bane. He was just literally like,
Yeah, but like they could have rewrote it and made Bane the main bad guy.
Do you know what?
Well,
You know,
but back then, Bane wasn't that big a significant or key of a character because that was before they did the Nightfall.
before
where he broke-
Nightfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So back then he was like a grunt. And
Yep.
the main reason that he's not Bane is because Mr. Freeze is just cooler.
yeah, haha. I like it.
That was a
Right.
terrible joke, Dev. Never say it again.
No,
Have
no,
you seen the movie?
I still love the story about Dave Bautista was at Warner Brothers and he marched in unannounced, like no meeting, and he's like, in the next Batman movie, I'm going to be playing Bane. They're like, whoa, we're not even casting that role. He's like, I don't care, I'm playing him. What a legend! What a
But
great
he's
little
not
guy.
skinny, right? He's not so skinny.
Okay, so
Tim!
Yeah.
Damn!
okay, the slightly sad thing about that is, with the David Easter retiring from wrestling and stuff, he could
Yeah.
play Batman beyond Bane, but not normal Bane.
Yeah, true. 1 second.
No,
Norm,
no,
who usually does it. 1 second. Norm, who normally does Extreme Improv, is here. I don't know if he's on the wrong show. Just going to check.
I'm on the wrong show, apparently.
Norm! Right. So this isn't Extreme Improv. This is Geek Battle, as you may be able to tell from Henry Cavill's mustache next to you.
Okay, I'll go get my mustache and come back next week.
Okay, awesome stuff. So, anyway, where were we at?
With
Tim
Tim's
coming
right.
in.
Tim.
Oh yeah, Tim. Hello, Tim. Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. This is Tim from a parking lot in Chestnut Hill outside of Boston, Massachusetts. My geek fact of the week is I have a 3-minute diatribe on what's that thing that the scientist was talking about? Grabby aliens being one of the reasons why there's no life in the universe. But I'll just say that there's new things coming out about the fact that there is no life in the universe because it's already real estate taken up by aliens. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
He's on to us. He's on to us. Black hole. Black hole. Black hole.
Look, all this stuff, like going into like the real science of aliens and stuff, right? Red Dwarf as a TV show never has had aliens in it, never. And yet, when you watch it, it feels like there's aliens in it all the time. But
Wait,
there's
really?
there's always
Yeah.
an explanation of, well, they're a gelf, a genetically engineered life form. No, they're from Earth. The robots are from Earth. Everything,
Fascinating.
the polymorph is from Earth. And it's an interesting show that I'd been watching it for like 15 or 20 years, and then it was like, yeah, there's no aliens in it. I was like, what do you mean there's no aliens in it? I mean, there aren't
Isn't
in
Cat
series
one?
1 and 2, but literally after that, it's full of aliens. But they always come up with a reason why they're not actually aliens.
I still think
I
it's
thought the cat was
like-
an alien.
Sorry?
I thought the cat was an alien.
No,
That's Captain Marvel.
Cat evolved from Lister's pet cat.
Oh,
So when Lister got put into suspended animation, was frozen for 3 million years, his cat was pregnant and sealed away so that it wouldn't get killed by the radiation leak. And then the kitten's just inbred for 3 million years. But yeah,
What?
All right.
It's a Virginia cat.
oh yeah, and we have slightly breaking
Sorry,
news.
West Virginia.
oh hang on, breaking news, Dev. What we
We've
got?
announced that a Nova TV show.
I missed that
What?
word. What TV show?
Disney has announced a Nova TV show,
Oh,
Oh, great.
and it's a cross between Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek.
wow. Okay, what is this based on? I don't know Nova.
So Nova Corps were basically Green Lantern for Marvel.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get you now.
They were in Guardians of the
Wait,
Galaxy.
Disney? Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
not like Marvel.
I thought you meant they were Green Lantern. Green Lantern's DC.
No.
Yeah, the
Marvel's
Nova
Green
Corps made a
Lantern.
brief appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy. They were the police that arrested Peter Quill in that in the first movie. That was who they were on the planet. That was the police force.
They were in the movie with Ronan. Was that?
Yeah,
the
but
first
how
one?
are they? But how are they the Green Lanterns? The Green Lanterns could like do stuff.
Because Cap, there is a hero called Nova, and he's like Captain Marvel, except he's actually likable and better.
Yeah. And
But like, how do you
he-
compare the Green
Okay,
Lanterns?
no. They are both part of a collective of a police force that look after the galaxy.
So does the plumbers from Ben 10, but I wouldn't compare them to the Green Lanterns.
How dare you!
Which is hilarious because the creator of Ben 10 has said the plumbers are based off the Green Lantern Corps.
Everyone is a Green Lantern.
Nah, Red Lantern for life.
Okay,
Orange.
so guys,
Yeah.
are there things we've seen? Are there any hot takes that we've got? Now, I'll quickly give mine, unless any of you guys can say that you've seen it. But I have watched the first 4 episodes, which is half of the Netflix Terminator anime series, Terminator Zero.
How is it?
Right, infuriating, but actually really good at the same time. It would be its own thing. It would be quite cool. As a Terminator thing, I feel like I have to let go of the fact that it really doesn't feel like Terminator in any way whatsoever, other than the fact that they use a bunch of lines from the Terminator and repeated ideas that you expect any franchise thing to do when they do new, like the new Alien film had got "Get away from you bitch," which is no surprise because they're always going to put these things in. So again, this is no spoiler. A character says he'll be back and stuff like this in it. But other than that, like I'm not the biggest fan of like the anime look of stuff. I especially think when there's like a child character, it really is jarring alongside a Terminator character. It just the two don't really fit. But the animation is at the same time really well done. It's gritty. It's definitely adult themed. Like the language in it this is definitely like made for adults. They could have filmed it as a movie. Except if they'd filmed it as a movie, I think everyone would say, what the hell have they been making? It's got enough weirdness where it's like, tiny spoiler, there's like a robot cat in it. And it's when it's like this, I'm like, oh, anime sensibilities have taken over the Terminator. And there's a version of an AI in it that looks like a Zora from The Legend of Zelda, if you know it. And it's like, this is too far away from Terminator for me to be completely on board. But at the same time, the premise of it is really good, which I'll sum up in a couple of sentences. I think it's set in Japan. And it's set mostly in like 1997 on Judgment Day. So, you know.
My birthday!
Yeah, oh, okay, that's cool. Right, it's set on Judgment Day. And there is a guy who is a computer developer creating a rival AI to Skynet. And basically, he doesn't know, what the future holds, But it's a case of, will his AI go live before Skynet? And that, I won't give more because it'll go into what the story is. But that's a really cool idea. But there's a lot of weirdness that, you know, if they'd actually put into a Terminator movie, would be so left field that I think people would just be like, they've completely lost the plot.
I've not seen it, but I can explain why they did that. Because if you had it in a movie, like, okay, so with the Terminator series, you need subplots to pad out the existing mythos, while a movie that would not need that. You're looking at about 6 hours of like footage versus an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, like it's 8 episodes and they're about half an hour each. So basically, this could have been condensed into one feature-length story. Yeah, that's cool, Tim. This could have been like one feature-length story, and absolutely, like having a robot cat. Like, there's so much of it which, man, I don't even know if this isn't a major spoiler. Okay, so this is the thing where I was like, this is no good. Obviously it has a Terminator in it. I don't know what model Terminator is, but their arm basically has a crossbow in it, and it's shit, to be honest. It's like,
seriously?
Yeah, they wouldn't need to have a built-in. They wouldn't need to have a built-in crossbow. It was just a bit naff. I'm sure they thought it was a really cool idea.
It almost sounds like they tweaked that and yanked that from Berserk, where the guy has this like, fake arm and he's got a crossbow.
Yeah.
But I always, but here's the thing, like, Deadshot I get, but like, the whole thing with Avengers where I go like, Hawkeye basically has the same powers of Deadshot, and he just carries a bow. You could just end so many fights if you just have a sniper. Like the whole movie, you can go into Iron Man film, bang, bad guy's done. Go to Hulk film, bang.
I think there's like an Indian reason why I can't use a sniper rifle, but I can't remember what it was.
Who? What, in Terminator?
Hawkeye can't use a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Is he only accurate with a bow and arrow? Because Bullseye has that he can use pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like Hawkeye's only good with the bow and arrow because that's the only thing he was taught how to do. Because he was taught in the circus by another guy with a bow and arrow.
But like, come on, like transferable skills. Come on,
just
like,
aiming.
It's aiming, you know. He's like, he's got this sniper rifle. He's like, how do you load it?
But I want to say that the wind resistance and the the drop down of a bullet is different to an arrow.
Yeah.
That is true. No, I get all of that, but again, it is much easier to learn a firearm than a bow and an arrow.
Because then Kapothev, Terminator, Hitman, any sort of movie that has an assassin in it, if they had a sniper rifle, the film would be over in 2 minutes. By the time you sit down, you're there with your bucket of popcorn, you're there saying, oh, I'm ready, I've heard so great things about this movie, it's so exciting. You sit down, the title card comes out, the guy's dead. Oh, it's over.
Hold on,
guys, there's some breaking news. Breaking news. Right, hold on.
Shit.
What? No, Nick! Go away!
I think you may have scared him off.
Nick, how you doing?
Oh no. I'm so sad.
Is he literally leaving?
No, Nick, please I apologise, Nick. Please come back.
Don't listen to Dave.
Which one?
True.
What did I do? Right, anyway. Now, Nick, can you hear us?
Yes.
Good. How are you?
Hi, Nick.
I'm fine.
Good. Now, Nick, have you seen Terminator Zero on Netflix?
No.
Oh well. Right, okay, so where are we at? We were just in the middle of discussing that, combined with why Hawkeye cannot fire a sniper rifle. Imagine he's got the gun, and
so,
he points
hold on. In the comic books, there's a great moment where Hawkeye goes to play golf. And the line is, he was like, how'd you do? Played 18, shot 18.
That's in the movie as well.
Yeah,
That's in the
I just
movie
can't
as well.
see it.
So he can hit golf balls, but not a gun? Oh, what such a...
Because Cap
Okay,
there,
no.
Gunman
Hold
is not
on.
as cool as Hawkeye.
No, Cap. I can break Cap in a second. Hold on. Can Oliver Queen do it?
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Yes,
Wait, really?
yeah,
When?
Oliver Queen can shoot a sniper rifle. He does it both in the comics and in the terrible show Oliver. Or Arrow, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
But
I
here's the
would
thing.
say, in terms of like in universe, like Hawkeye is significantly better than Green Arrow because of the levels that he goes up against.
Yeah.
However, Green Arrow is just as good as is shown when he flicked a peanut across a bar into someone else's face, and he
Yeah.
barely lifted a finger.
Okay, no, Dave. But I can do that.
No, you can't, Dave. No, you can't.
Dad, tell you what, come to
But you know, guys, you know
Give me
who
your
doesn't
peanut.
have this problem reversed? The animated movie Deadshot, right? He usually uses a gun, but give him a dart and he can do the same. Give him anything, he can do anything. Like,
I mean,
the bad guy is better.
Bullseye can do that also.
Yeah.
We've been over this. Can we just accept the fact that there are people who can use firearms and weapons significantly better than your average idiot who picks it up in an afternoon?
Clearly, you haven't been.
Also,
So-
speaking of Deadshot, nobody realized he was actually in Deadpool and Wolverine.
He couldn't.
Deadshot?
Right.
No, not
Deadshot.
Deadshot.
It's
Bullseye.
Bullseye. Yeah, Bullseye.
Oh yeah, Bullseye definitely was. I do remember that.
Isn't Bullseye a Toy Story character?
He's the horse.
He's the horse.
Like
The
the
horse
wind,
called
Bullseye!
You see what I did
Just
there?
had a quick look. I found a discussion on Quora, and it's saying about Hawkeye firing like a gun. So I'll show you this. Just because it's got these animated GIFs here, are the first two from Marvel? Because I can't identify them off the top of my head.
That's
But
from
the
Born
middle
Ultimatum.
one, someone points out he is drawing a bow as he fires a pistol. What is he doing?
Reflex.
That is a really
It's a dance move.
Where's his pistol? He's like drawing a bow.
They CGI'd the pistol in afterward. It was supposed to be a bow. I don't know.
Because magic.
Remember,
But I don't remember specifically when.
Is it Jeremy Renner who plays him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think
Jeremy
that's
Renner's
footage.
an actor. He has done other movies
What?
where,
Yeah.
where he may have
Yeah.
shot somebody with a gun.
So you're saying, yeah, but why is he drawing a bow?
I believe
Oh, 'cause
he
I
was
assume it's maybe a character instinct thing, but he was fighting off people as Loki and that were escaping that underground shield base. So, quick thinking.
Yeah. I believe that's footage from Born Ultimatum, by the way.
But why is he drawing his bow back? Was he
What's
just like
happening?
to get out
He
like
was-
What is happening on this show?
It was like Henry Cavill with the
This is
mustache thing. They
This is
just
the
used it
most
from the other
interesting
movie.
topic we ever had on Geek Battle, okay?
Oh.
Games and lose Geek of the Week to fucking death. Can we do that one time?
Silence filled the room. The tumbleweed went across the screen.
Guys, who has seen anything this week they want to react to? Dave.
A small, very, very small teaser trailer for Alien Earth.
I'm gonna go see Beetlejuice tomorrow.
I believe they've said it's going to be a TV series where the xenomorphs are going to be on Earth in the future, in this futuristic thing, not like what they did in Alien versus Predator, but have it like how they had it in the future. And I think that's a really good idea because we've spent so much time seeing the xenomorphs in space on other planets. Why not finally have them on Earth?
Didn't they do that in Alien vs. Predator?
But we don't. It's shit. Those were
I
shit.
think that's non-canon, isn't it?
It is. I
Okay,
would tell
so
you what
here's the
Alien.
question.
I would say what Alien vs Predator Requiem was like, but I couldn't see a fucking thing because the movie
Oh
was
my
so
god,
dark.
it's so dark. It's so dark.
Hold
I
on,
will say though that it has one of the most hilarious deaths in the franchise though.
On the group chat, shut your trash mouth, Gerald.
What?
What?
Wait, look, hang on. Our audience aren't in the group chat, so what's the context of this? Shut your trap.
Oh, is it from what he said here, Nick? Is it Prey
Yes,
was
it is.
excellent?
Oh, Prey was good. It was
I
great.
give that the benefit. It was
good.
okay.
It
I
was
think
a
it was
lot
just
better
for
than-
me. It was just okay. It wasn't great.
Oh, it was a lot better than what has been out for a while.
What, the Predator movie Prey is
Gerald, I
genuinely...
love your opinion, and Dave, I love your opinion. And if you have an opinion on someone else's opinion, I'm glad you're wasting fucking energy. That's all I got.
Yeah. Okay,
Thanks,
hang
Tim.
on. Genuinely though, Prey is the second best Predator movie after the original.
Yeah, I've heard that.
No.
You know, I'll give you that, but then you got to realize that.
Like, the Adrian Brody one could have been good, except for Adrian Brody, as good an actor as he is, he decided to play it like Batman the whole movie, and it ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
That's
Well, I would
that's
honestly say-
well played.
I can honestly say, like,
Sniper
the
rifle,
first Predator,
like what?
then the second one, and then Prey.
Oh, I don't like the second one. It's too negative.
Does anyone know how Adrian Brody developed his character for that movie? Did he research, like, did he watch Predator and then, like, go in the woods and, like, you know, dress up and just, like, crawl through the dirt and pretend he was hunted by aliens? Did he just take a bunch of steroids and then watch Batman Begins?
Maybe he
Yeah,
just
I
came off of filming King
I-
Kong.
Yeah, there was a weird brief moment where Adrian Brody tried to be action star.
Yeah.
Very brief.
Weird brief
What
moment.
else was there?
I mean, like, the
In Peaky
thing I
Blinders,
always
he
said-
plays a good gangster.
he
In
was
Peaky
the-
Blinders, he plays a good gangster, but I don't see him playing a tough man.
He was
I
the...
never watched Peaky Blinders.
Two things though, like one in the Alien versus Predator movie, I always found it kind of odd that his sniper rifle had a remote control on top of it. I know it's probably a real scopy thingy, but like for me, it looked like his sniper rifle had remote control on top of it. The other thing, like, yeah, I mean, he was in Peaky Blinders as a gangster, right? As a
Well, he
video
plays a skinny gangster who's, like, slightly, like, in a weakened position. I didn't watch the whole season, but I watched clips, and he has a believable character and a believable, like, just nature about him. In just with when he's like a sleeveless sniper with muscles in the Predator movie, it wasn't as believable. Well, I mean, it's not a very believable movie, anyways. But like Topher Grace was good. Like he plays it.
You're lagging quite badly, Tim. I don't know if we've.
Yeah, stop stealing my shtick,
Yeah.
Mr. Lag.
Mr. Lag.
Sorry.
It's okay, Tim. It's okay.
Okay, I'll just listen then.
Well, we'll find a way. We always do. Yeah, like Topher Grace was all right for what his role was in that film. It's weird, actually. They had Adrian Brody, who's like he's trying to be an action guy. Then they've got Venom, and he's like, oh, we got to give another shot to Topher Grace here. Didn't really work out that well for either of them. Cap.
Again, this is not about those guys. This is about the alien thing that Tim brought up earlier about like what the Fermi paradox and things. There's also an interesting thing with the Warhammer that happens is that like when they use warp travel, which is basically wormhole, but again, in Warhammer has like hell and stuff like that. They always arrive in different points of time. Like they might leave in 2024 and they're expected to arrive in 6 months. Oh shit, they come back at like 0908. So it's never really precise. Maybe like aliens who figured out wormhole and space in general with black holes and time dilation. It's just like whenever we like do intergalactic space travel, we just like end up in the place that we meant to be.
That's actually what's happening now. My transmissions are going through the warp.
Yeah.
It's true.
Was there lag there? Is there lag? I hope there's no lag.
Better.
It is.
Okay.
It's definitely true.
Damn it.
Nick, did you give a wave?
Yeah, Cap. I am oh shit, it's Nick. Is that oh shit anything other than
The whole.
it's Nick? Never mind.
Okay, we're back. Guys, I just lost you all for a moment. I need to do a quick check that we're still live, and then we'll continue.
The lag is contagious. It is infecting David. It is the warp.
Yeah. It says, oh, we're definitely still live. I don't know if it was just StreamYard, but yeah, we had like a momentary.
Why don't we do this on Discord?
Nick just opened up a Discord. We need to do this on Discord.
Look, honestly, I might be using Discord, but it's not good for like public broadcasting.
Yeah,
so you can
no,
only
this is the best
stream it
option
to the
for.
people in your Discord, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not out for a little while yet, but the first reviews for Joker 2, I can't even pronounce it, Folie à Dieu, is out.
Folie à Dieu.
Foie à deux.
French guy can. Let Dave pronounce it.
Foie à deux.
Or to say it like a true Englishman, Joker 2, right? Okay? Now, so Joker 2, the first review I've got here is on IGN, which is Internet Gaming Network, I think it originally was, but it's a big website. They gave it 5 out of 10, which is really poor.
I
And
also
basically,
Uh-oh.
they say
Do you remember what the review was for the first Joker?
Sorry?
Did we look up what the review is for the first Joker?
No, not.
I think they were quite excellent when it came out.
Yeah,
I think it was pretty good
it did
too,
$1 billion, but they say it wastes its potential as a movie musical. I don't think any comic book fan is thinking, "Oh, hope this is a great musical," right? A courtroom drama and a sequel that has anything meaningful to say or add to the first Joker. They don't get it. With comic book stuff, with sci-fi and that, we want more of the same. Give us something fun. We just want to have the nostalgia trip with these characters. Yeah. I don't need it to say more about the Joker. We get a new Joker every 4 years anyway.
That is
true. A bit more of this one.
Yeah, but I would say, again, with Joker, there's a high expectations, mainly because, every time the Joker it was, other than Jared Leto, we had Jack Nicholson, and then we had, who's the greatest Joker of all time? Heath
Mark
Ledger's
Hamill.
Joker.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, him too. Yeah, him too.
Look, I can't believe I'm about to make a statement.
expectations. Go, Nick.
I'm about to make a statement I didn't think I was going to make today. I'm going to agree with Dave MC on Mark Hamill being the best Joker of all times.
Wow.
The universe will implode in 10 seconds.
I agree he's one of the best, but again, for me, it's Heath Ledger. But what I'm saying is, because he has great expectations, everyone's going to expect more with the Joker. Yeah. Because, the first one is, it's not a comic book movie, guys. It's a real-life tragedy, and they were, doing it in a more realistic way. So, again, people are going to expect more.
Well, I was just pulled it up on Wikipedia, and it says it's a musical psychological thriller, which is a little weird.
That sounds really weird, but...
I mean, so is The Greatest Showman, technically.
And that's not a thriller.
Psychological thriller? No.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho.
Last Night in
Soho.
Soho.
Hugh Jackman singing. It's Wolverine and Mary Jane's musical, basically.
As long as Russell Crowe's not singing, I'm fine with it.
Are we going to talk about the Russell
Guys,
for 2 seconds?
Quite a lot. Guys. Let's bring it back down, guys. Just like Ross and Friends, let's bring it down a little bit. We're overlapping quite a lot.
Are we going to pivot?
Pivot. We're being attacked by some lag, so we just need to be super listening. Dev, go for it.
I think those Last Night in Soho, which was the movie, Matt Smith got cast in because of Morbius.
Jesus. Wait, I think I've seen Last Night in Soho, but Morbius was terrible.
Yeah, but it became a meme, so...
Yeah.
It's more than time, baby.
Yeah.
I love that. I still can't get over the fact that because of that catchphrase, they released it again and it failed again.
Yes.
But Kraven the Hunter, look, have Sony actually announced anything? Obviously,
Okay.
there's going to be Spider-Verse 3, right?
Hmm.
Because they'd already announced it was a two-parter, right? But have they actually announced any other live action? We had Madam Web. Obviously, Venom's going to come out soon, and Craven is coming out, I think, by the end of the year. They haven't even announced that anything else is in production. I'm worried that they're going to lose the rights to Spider-Man if they don't get their act together. Cap.
David, there's a meme of like the Sony's movies like Morbius and now the Craven appearing just in the time of Sonic, and Sonic absolutely obliterating them. There's a meme of that. If you can find it, please do share.
I'll have. I think I've seen it.
So I'm
So,
looking at the writer for the Edgar Wright movie that Last Night in Soho. The writer's actually really good. It's Edgar Wright, the guy who wrote Scott Pilgrim and a
And
bunch of other really cool shit.
Yeah.
So, David, yeah, I can actually explain the whole Sony thing. But they're contractually obligated to release one every few years just to not lose it. But they're doing really something really, really
Yeah.
horrible and scumbaggy. They're putting villains in, like movies, specifically so Marvel can't use them. Because they just announced a bunch of.
I read this as well.
Well, but my understanding is they own all the
scumbaggy.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
characters.
Oh gosh, guys,
Hey,
can we check
Gerald,
all
Gerald,
the-
you-
who's-
hold on,
microphone's
hold
going
on,
away.
everyone.
we're holding. There you go.
I was waiting for you because you were saying hold on, so everyone's
Okay.
talking. So
Oh, no,
I said,
okay.
hold
Well,
on.
someone, right. Yeah, let me just quickly say. So, I agree, it's scumbaggy in a way because we want all these crossovers and everything. But in another way, I think like Sony are like the last thing that is protecting us from just like Disney absolutely controlling everything. And so all of the Spider-Man, like the Spider-Verse films are fantastic. And generally speaking, all of the Spider-Mans from Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, but all of the Tom Holland ones have been really good. So if there is something that just means that it isn't all just under one person, go on, Dave. What are you trying to say? What is it?
Oh, I'm going to go at Cap. He's what he's wearing in the chat.
Oh,
That's
Cap,
all.
what are you saying?
I'm saying
It is! They just said it!
I'm saying the Lion Man will be awesome, okay?
Oh, there you go.
Thundercats.
But yeah, like so.
By the way, I'm talking about the
Thunder,
80s
Thundercat.
the one from 1987, which I know is before your time, Cap, but not the late 2000.
Well,
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Craven, Nick. Craven
Okay.
is the Lion Man. He gets
No,
bitten
no,
by a
no.
lion.
Nick, no. Yeah. You missed out something really important, right? There's the original Thundercats in 1987. There's
Right.
the good reboot in 2007 with Matt Mercer. And there's another one called Thundercats Go, which is the bad one.
Piece of shit.
I didn't like the good.
Wait,
the
I think
quote
we
unquote good
Thundercats
reboot.
Raw.
Yeah.
The good reboot of Thundercats was called
Okay.
Silverhawks from 1989 by the same company.
So the reason I call it Thundercats Go is because it's made by the same company as Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
Wait for it, wait for it, and boom! There you go.
Oh my god, that's awful looking.
But
It's even worse.
Try find a
Look
picture of
up-
the 2007 one, because that's amazing.
The
I
2011 one is the
tell you
best.
what,
Like it's one of the best adapted stuff from the 80s and 90s.
Because Lion-O is played by Matt Mercer, and his father is played by the original Lion-O.
Oh yeah.
Lionel is
But-
played by Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome.
That
Hey,
And here's
cool.
the thing: the original Lion-O is playing his dad.
that is kind of cool, I must say.
It
Look
is
up
a
the-
cool show, Nick. Give it a shot. It's a good show.
What is it?
Although you get only one season. That's the sad thing.
Send it. DM me the name. I'll look it up.
Yep. It's just Thundercats 2011. That's all. It's basically Thundercats 2011.
Yeah.
Wait, 2011.
Yeah.
Okay,
2011.
I'm going to show the comparison here, guys, because I'll tell you my issue, and it's similar as I was talking about Terminator earlier. It's the art style for me of like the 2011 Thundercats is it just kind of removes all of the personality from them. They just become.
Yeah, they're
creator
wearing
actors.
pants, David. They're wearing pants, okay?
Yeah, okay,
Instead
so,
of underwear.
so when you get a video game and you can create a character, and it's just you just change like the color of the costume and that. It's just like it's this. They don't have any individual personality to them compared to whoever's taking a shit on the stream.
Someone's motorboating.
Right.
Someone's motorboating.
Right. Okay. So like,
Don't look at me.
So what the hell is this crap? Look, that. Look at that face of Mumra. That is freaking scary.
Yeah, Mumra's pretty close
But look,
to the original.
all of these
Only the cat
characters,
section.
they are
Google-
individual personalities, and then you get
Google-
this. Ugh. Doesn't do
Yeah,
it for
but
me.
David,
I
they
will
get
say
their
it's
personality in the good writing, okay? They get very individual
Okay, so
personality
you
in
want
the writing.
personality, you look at Thundercat's Raw. If your personality is designed,
No,
look at
that's
Raw.
just like terrible. Like, I don't know what's happened to animation where they just don't even try anymore.
I know what's happened. Because
Do
it's
you?
because it's digital now, and there's a lot of deadlines. They rush it instead of taking time.
Well, yeah, look, basically they use a lot of old school animation. They'd have to draw every single cell. Now
Yeah.
they just design a character that's got like an invisible skeleton in it, where they can tell the arms to rotate, and this is the walk cycle. So they
Yeah,
can
but
accept
like David, I've seen the '80s Thundercats. They reused a lot of the stuff same as the old.
it doesn't matter that they reused it. It was good. It was genuine. You know.
Here's the
I mean, I
here's
do have a spot stop for the '80s Thundercats, but most of the old stuff that I couldn't really get into, even TMNT, the '80s one, I can't really get into. But Thundercats,
Oh,
I can.
we're gonna talk about that on the show when I'm invited.
Yeah.
Why it's the best version of the Turtles?
Okay,
Dave.
Dave.
I was going to say,
Dave.
I agree on your point there, David, with the downgrade animation, because I have been doing also some rewatching of anime, and and there are some animes that I like. They're really beautiful, like the 2D animation, and some things like in the finale of Attack on Titan, where they're flying through a skeleton. It's beautifully stylized in 2D animation, something like to the effect of what they did in the Spider-Verse films, where everything's moving fast and it's all beautifully done in something like 2D. But then, in contrast, you'll have like maybe a moment of a 3D scene, and it stands out. Not in a positive way though, because it's clearly obvious and like the colors look terrible. And like another example would be I watched, because I think it was Gerald that brought up the Berserk. The original Berserk in 2D animation format looks okay of its time. It looks great. But then you got like 2016 and the 2017 one, which was all 3D animation, and it looks god awful.
Yeah.
Look, 3D animation is not my favorite style of animation. I prefer like
Stop motion.
not quite, but I prefer like
How dare you.
Animaniacs, DuckTales.
Yeah. Like, honestly, if you go back to like the early animation,
I would
you
also-
see. I was just gonna say, if you see like the truly
I would
early
say like, yeah,
Sorry,
go,
no, it's okay. I
Dave,
think
go, Dave,
everyone's
go,
lagging
go,
tonight,
go.
guys. No, guys, we're a team. We will get through this together. We are the Geek Avengers.
David, go.
Right. So when you look back at some of like the early animation where they were still finding out what they were doing, and you'd have the Fleischer style where everything's kind of rubbery and bouncy, and then you'd have
By Tim.
all right, bye Tim.
Bye, guys.
And then you'd
Get
get
it out.
into like the golden like Looney Tunes, and you'd get into Disney. That lasted. from
Don't say it. You better not say a bad thing about
Nick,
Looney
Nick,
Tunes, because
Nick,
Cap will go take
Nick.
your ass.
I wasn't going to, right? I said you get into the golden age. Why would you say, oh, that golden age was shit? No, it's called the golden age for a reason, right? So, but you think that lasted basically from the late 30s all the way until the 90s, where suddenly you got Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory, and suddenly they were like, oh, we don't have to put in any effort anymore. And all of the cartoons were just like these little weird, like deformed shapes that were either really stretched out, and then everything that you get that's like Western animation looks shitty like that, or it's anime. You don't get any of that traditional stuff anymore. Okay, look, someone take it. Cap, you're pouring at me.
Okay. So for one, again, 90s, again, the Powerpuff Girls, all that. Okay, I agree with you. But again, 90s did have gargoyles, which again, like, looked far better than any other animation from the 80s.
It was
and other
Korean.
Gargoyles
Also-
is left over from the 80s, though. Clearly,
Also, we had
It looks nothing compared to the
wah.
80s. 80s cannot look the same as good as gargoyles.
no,
but
but the
I
fact
also-
is the evolution of the 80s style of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I
style.
would say, like, again, it was an evolution, and again, in 2000s, you had good shows that kind of did the thing, but also, the other thing became is, like, the animation got lighter, I would say, as it got to the 2000s. The older stuff from the 80s and 90s, it kind of feels like, maybe it's the drawing thing, it's like, it has a little bit of texture in it. The texturing in the 2000s until the 2011s, the texturing is a bit lighter than the old stuff. Maybe that's why it's different.
Okay, so I'm going to fill this one. I would say the 90s, the Dexter's Lab, Pop-Up Girls, Johnny Bravo were the last bastion of proper animation.
Johnny Bravo was part of the problem.
Yeah, but what about Samurai Jack, David? That was
What's
awesome.
wrong with Johnny Bravo, David?
Look, that Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, and Powerpuff Girls were literally a trio of the new wave of animation. They were literally
yes, I'll
the
give him.
show
I'll give him that point.
began
begrudgingly.
everything
No,
being
like-
no effort.
I would defend them because the generation after those was infinitely worse than what we had. They were
Yep.
literally
Well,
the gatekeepers.
Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go.
And
So-
the re-
But here's the hypocrisy, guys. David hates Dexter's Laboratory and all that stuff, but he loves Teen Titans Go.
okay, and another
No,
thing
I
that
like the
Captain-
writing on Teen Titans Go. The animation
That's
is
the
still
thing,
bullshit.
David. We like the writing of the 2000s.
Um,
They were awesome.
No. As far as
You
90s
and your
animation,
fair
cartoon-
points, Cap.
as far as far as 90s animation, I have two words to say to you. And Gerald, you gotta back me up on this. Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah.
that is a whole different kettle of fish, but I'd like to address
No,
Cap.
it was made by Nickelodeon originally. It was made by Klasky Chubo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who also did
Rugrats.
Rugrats, and I'm just I'm breaking count, and that's making my day.
Can I just say though, can we hold up a vote of no confidence to stop Cap from referencing anything from the 2000s as he's a baby?
Okay, and, like,
Oh, hang on. Fairness to him, right? So, I think there is something about, like, by the time you were, like, 5 or 6 years old, the stuff that aired just before is now completely in rerun season. So you end up seeing more of that than anything else.
yeah.
Because, when was Master of the Universe? Probably, like, 1982 or 83. I wasn't born until 85. So...
I feel
and
so
also
old.
it depends where you get it in the world. So
Yeah.
like we didn't get He-Man until a few years after it had already been running in America, and Ninja Turtles a couple of years later. So by the time
Hold on,
Cats saw
hold
everything
on.
in Sri
You
Lanka,
like the South Breeders.
probably
Did
Tom and
not get
Jerry was
Ninja
brand new
Turtles.
in Sri
You got
Lanka.
Ninja Heroes, which
I
is
saw
not the
Looney
same
Tunes on
thing.
TV from the 1930s when I was a kid.
Okay, quickly, I want to talk about Cap talking about Gargoyles. Gargoyles was basically one of the first Asian animated TV shows because it was made
Ah,
by
that's fascinating.
Walt Disney and Television Animation Japan.
Woo!
Also, what I love about Gargoyles
I'll tell
is
you
that-
what, though. So look, here's the thing.
it now has continuity. It's one of the first animated series with complete continuity.
And also, Iron Man's personalities came from the show. The bad guy from the show is basically Iron Man.
Again, guys.
Well,
the bad
is-
villain.
The bad guy on the show
Xanatos
is
is
Jonathan.
played by Will Riker.
Yeah, it's Will Riker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jonathan
I'd
Frakes.
say
I couldn't remember his name.
I forgot what's the bad guy's name. I forgot the name.
Xanatos.
Xanatos, yes. Xanatos is basically
Bob.
Tony Stark with a ponytail.
Right. However, that Xanatos is based off a Shakespearean character, like most of the
Xanatos.
show is.
That's what I'm saying. Iron Man stole that guy.
So what you're saying is, I've stolen
so
Tony
guys,
Stark's
so like-
beard work because Tony Stark has a beard like mine. By your
Yes.
logic, Cap.
Yeah. No, Dave, if you watch the show,
Xanatos
he's a billionaire. He has a suit, like an Iron Man red black suit, same goatee, same narcissistic personality, except he has a ponytail. That's the
Can
only
we
difference.
Can we mute Captivate for like 5 minutes? Can we throw Cap in the mute jail for 5 minutes?
Put him in the
Nick,
naughty
you're
corner.
muted for this. Nick, you're muted. Right, there you go. Right. Anyway, finally, I think you can unmute yourself. We'll see if he can manage it.
I
Right.
did, yes.
Oh shit, he did it instantly. Right. Okay. Now, guys, look very quickly. So if I bring up this a second, so I just want to highlight here.
Aye.
So there we see gargoyles, and the thing I'm going to
Yes.
point out about them. This is why I say that they're like a throwback. So if you have a look at what's this one? Oh, that's still gargoyles. If you look at real Ghostbusters and stuff like this, and then you get some like Powerpuff Girls, there's absolutely no comparison. Like that is closer thematically. These characters could interact with each other. But then even if you get to Johnny Bravo, like the proportions and the detail is so stylized into their modern like way of the mid-90s, where they were just like, we can just do things really cheap.
Yeah,
You know,
but
that
David,
was the problem
if you-
with this stuff.
But David, as you said, as it evolves, like from Johnny Bravo and like Powerpuff Girls, go to Samurai Jack, where they still have that simplistic style, but they improved upon it in a lot of ways.
Oh my god, Samurai Jack is actually fantastic. I really love it.
And Real Ghostbusters was also animated in Japan, so that's why.
Which one?
Real Ghostbusters.
No, but it doesn't matter if it was animated in Japan. Like The Simpsons is animated abroad anyway.
In Korea.
Like no American studio actually animates in America. But like the designs of the characters is what I'm talking about. So like when you get Ninja Turtles, He-Man, Thundercats, Real Ghostbusters, you know, all of these characters could kind of meet each other. Like if you get the human characters from Transformers, they could go up to He-Man and they'd look like they belong within the same universe.
Gerald had his hand up for
I
an hour.
will admit. Okay, wait. I'll let Gerald talk.
Go on, Gerald.
So, what I was going to say is part of it was the age of the animation, but also the studios, or not necessarily the studios, but the wherever it was being shown on, because like Warner Brothers had a very different style than the Disney animation stuff with gargoyles that had a very different animation than what was it, Ren and Stimpy, and then what was it you had, was it Cartoon Network and all these other ones. Yeah, and I mean if you look at it, like part of it definitely is the age, but part of it is also like who is putting out the majority of the cartoons at that point in time. So like Cartoon Network is definitely where you had, that's where Dexter's Laboratory, the Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Samurai Jack, all those were yeah. So, and that's part of it as well.
I just remember when Cartoon Network was mono, like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, because that's all they had.
Yeah.
And you know what? And we let. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to come back to Dev because Dev made way for Gerald. So before we lose the thread, Dev.
So basically, I just realized now that the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, and Johnny Bravo you were correct. So the first bad animations, and because from the 90s onwards, everyone that Cartoon Network hired graduated from the same school.
Yeah.
The California Institute of Arts, CalArts. Everyone they hire has to go to that school. That's why they have a uniform animation style.
And see, look, and here's the thing, like, growing up, like, I watched Johnny Bravo and really liked it. I didn't mind Dexter's Lab. And, like, the writing can be good, right? The animation can be good, but, like, the resentment I have to it is it affected everything else. In the same sense, I love Toy Story, and when A Bug's Life came out, I was like, oh my god. but these still ultimately killed off all of the Disney classics because literally they didn't do as well, and then they stopped them. And this is
Yeah, but the problem was that.
Over. Go on.
Yeah, but the problem was that, Dave, is that like at that time, not 2D animation wasn't dying. Disney just made idiotic choices in their film releases, like
Agreed.
release Treasure Planet on the week of Harry Potter.
Well, and they had a lot weaker storylines too. I think Pixar really knocked it out early on, like probably the first half of their existence. They had incredibly deep and moving storylines that were not only
I just saw a thing
but
that
for adults
Quentin
as well.
Tarantino's favorite movie of all time are Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. Like, he loved them since he watched them.
Okay, Nick, do you know
Tarantino,
why?
right?
Yeah,
Do you know why, Nick?
because of he believes that they're the most complete, like that that you can watch them as a closing story, or you can watch them as in all three of them as a trilogy, and they make sense in both contexts.
That's a good theory, but the actual reason is that one scene where the toy restorer paints over the boot, where's his Andy? That's the reason he loves that movie, because of the boot.
Foot fetish again?
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yes.
you're right. Yeah, Dave.
I was just going to say that I think Cartoon Network definitely took the morning cartoons thing by storm, because Disney, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Disney at that point was focusing on entertainment that was aimed at a lot younger audiences than, let's say, like a 7 or 8 year old wouldn't watch a Mickey Mouse cartoon which was intended like mostly for children. And Disney making the films, they were intended for all audiences. Whereas like a Disney cartoon would be aimed mostly at younger ages. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
So I was a teenager when DuckTales first came out, and Darkwing Duck, and Tailspin.
Yes, love Tailspin.
And I love those, but I'm a huge Disney fan.
What I was going to quickly say there is that Disney, one, it was like, oh wow, CGI, look how realistic everything looks. And that's definitely attention grabbing. Being able to see something like toys come to life, if they could have done the same idea as 2D animation, and it wouldn't have had the impressiveness of seeing something that looks plastic being able to move. It was just, it took so much focus. Because you got to think, Toy Story came out within the same 1 year as The Lion King. But after The Lion King, which topped off Little Mermaid and Aladdin and a Lion King as these huge things, we got Pocahontas, but whereas you could arguably say, like especially like Aladdin with Genie and stuff like this was a bit more boy focused, Pocahontas was definitely more girl focused. And the ones that followed, Treasure Planet, I just don't think, Brother Bear, none of these things were as big, but like they're not as big in scope. Like they didn't have as appealing characters as when you have Genie and Timon and Pumbaa. What's the character you really care about? Like they've still got like Emperor's New Groove and that, but generally,
look! I'm gonna. If you say a bad thing about a personal groove, I'm gonna leave this show right now.
I'm comfortable with that. Right? Okay. So anyway, I wasn't saying so bad. But the point was, by the time you got Home on the Range, and it's coming out within the same year as like Toy Story 2 or Monsters Inc., it was like it was going to fail. But if they'd done Monsters Inc. as a 2D animation, they could have still had a ton of fun with that. And I would say, arguably, when you go back and watch the first Monsters Inc., or if you go back and watch A Bug's Life, they're kind of hard on the eyes by the modern standard, whereas the old Disney cartoons still look as good as they did. Okay, Dev, then Cap.
Okay, so with the Disney literally owned a monopoly on the 80s animated shows wise. In the 90s, when they decided to focus on theatrical releases and 3D animation, they scaled back on the 2D animation TV shows and focused on live action shows like I can't think of any right now, but they fill up the Disney
live action
with live action shows.
Yeah,
on Disney,
like
everybody
yes.
talking about
iCarly and like a lot of stuff, Suits and
So during that, Warner Brothers had a block of cartoons.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
That was only a block, so that's why Cartoon Network, being an actual network of TV of cartoons, became the monopoly of the 90s.
Cap?
Okay. A lot of things to unpack first. First of all, how dare you say Treasure Planet isn't good? I will resent you for that. But here's the thing, David. Like, again, because, like I said, they released those movies on stupid times, but they also made it back that money by releasing it on TV, and then the youngster generation who saw it first, they like follow it like cult-wise. So they in a sense for Disney, they did make it bad. I would say Disney is still as profitable. If they say, "Oh, we're gonna do Mufasa in 2D animation," everyone would be like, "We're there." Disney can still do it, but for some reason they don't want to do it. That's the only thing I can think of. And also, the cartoons, as I say, like the animation styles, different eras. But the problem is they also did like continuation shows. Like the multiverse thing kind of started to exist on the TV networks, where you had Batman the animated series and Superman the animated series, and they both looked the similar animation, and they even joined the world. And then you had Justice League, they had to follow up on that. They only did like minor tweaks to make the characters look a little bit better, but other than that, they just followed on. Same for Cartoon Network. But as they say, as it goes on, it did the show that produced Dexter's and like awful animated stuff, Cartoon Network, in the 2000s did Ben 10, which was pretty, like the classic Ben 10 looked pretty good. So as they went on, when their budget got a little better, they were like, you know what, we need to go back to the action stuff. We can do much better, and we have much better writers. So it did go, but then Teen Titans Go came back and killed everything. I'm going to stop.
All right, go on, Nick, because I cut you off earlier to come back to these guys.
I was going to say that my favorite cartoon of the 90s was actually Batman the Animated Series, largely because it was unbelievable. Like, the storylines were great, and the drawings were probably the 2 or 3 best drawn cartoons of the era. I also loved the Gargoyles, but it was because of the animation style and the in-depth storylines.
Like I said, as the years went on, they got a little bit deeper until Teen Titans Go. But other than that, they were going in the good direction.
I'm in a weird mood today, and I'm agreeing with people, and I don't like it.
Just go back. Take
Well, here's
kills
the
again,
thing about
Nick.
the Emperor's New Groove. We'll see if you agree with this. Right, no. I
love the Emperor's New Groove.
I know, it's terrible. Right, no, I'm joking. Now,
no, it's very good.
Dev.
So, like Cap said, Disney had an unfortunate thing of scheduling their movies for bad release dates against really good movies, right?
Yeah.
Thank God in the year 2024, they've gone out of that and aren't releasing a big movie against a bigger movie. But on that subject, though, when are they releasing Lion King again?
Mufasa? I think it's coming out at the same time as Sonic.
The trailer just came out.
Oh, no, Mufasa will definitely outsell Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and it's the third movie. The third movie won't be good at all.
Guys, I can tell you that Mufasa is coming out in 107 days in the UK at least. So we're
Same
on
day as
107 days countdown. Sonic is not coming out for 108 days.
So one day?
Oh no! How will Sonic cope arriving a day later? It just won't cope, will it? Oh!
Isn't Sonic supposed to be the fastest hedgehog on the planet? What the fuck?
Yeah, you can catch up.
It's going to be so interesting though, because I'd say Mufasa has a good chance. Like Sonic has done so well, but it's
so did Morbius.
But how many? So, like, here's the interesting thing, because this is parents taking their kids literally the week of Christmas to see movies.
Yeah, but the parents are mad at the live action. That's the thing. None of the parents like Disney anymore.
David,
but they smile now.
People
Everyone's
need to
like,
realize.
they fixed it.
Yes, but I smile every day and no one pays attention.
There's other reasons.
Look,
people need to realize that you can't beat
let's just
Sonic
one thing.
with movies.
Unfortunately, I think that this fight is going to be won by Sonic, Because if you ask an 8, 9, 10-year-old who Sonic the Hedgehog is, they can tell you. And if you ask that same 8, 9, or 10-year-old,
Mufasa, they were like, who?
Well, maybe we should ask someone who's quite young, Nick. Cap, who's
Cap.
Sonic?
I would tell you again, Sonic is someone I learned later than Mufasa. So again, I'm one of the exceptions.
Okay, so I'll put it this way. Sonic's still alive.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
I mean,
look,
after Sonic 06, yeah, he's had to be revived.
To be
look,
honest,
I gotta say one thing about that.
go on.
When they killed Hamlet, Hamlet stayed dead. Because
Have you seen Hamlet 2?
Yes,
It's with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was in Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Hamlet 2 was awesome.
Not
Yes,
to
I've
be.
definitely seen Hamlet too.
Not to be. Oh, that's a great line. That is the best line in Last Action Hero.
Why is Why has that film not been made?
I know.
Do you know? Actually, I was thinking it was a thing in the Lost World Jurassic Park. There was a film poster when the bus goes through the movie shop of King Lear starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god.
You know what?
Movies within movies are the best. Like
Yeah.
if you know the movie Bowfinger, and it gets to the end and it shows the movie that they
Chubby
are then
Ray.
making, they should have done that whole movie.
Like back in the 90s, what I really wanted, if anyone remembers the 90s Romeo and Juliet, right? With
Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah. If they made a whole series of Shakespeare movies like that.
That would have been cool.
What, with Leo DiCaprio as every character?
Yeah.
Yes.
With every 19-year-old you can think of. Every 19-year-old.
I'm not gonna lie, I still found that a hard watch. It was like when I was that age, I was like, I can't understand what the hell they're talking about. Why don't
And
they
they're
just
talking in your English. Imagine me.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, I have ADHD, right? And we watched the film in the school. While everyone else was watching the film, I was too busy looking out the window, wondering what was going on outside.
Yeah.
There's everybody going, oh, so what does this word mean in Romeo and Juliet? They go, there's a butterfly outside.
They didn't pull down the shades when you guys watch movies at school?
Wasn't there?
I got that bored, I stuck my head behind the shades like that, so I could watch the traffic out the window go by.
Oh no, the entire thing that Dave just did, isn't that like a Simpsons joke? Where Homer is talking to about his future, and he gets distracted and by a butterfly at the window.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
That's ADHD in a nutshell. That's my ADHD in a nutshell.
Do you know, what's interesting, like with the Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy now, is how there is like the alternative dimension where they released the original vision, and that film completely flopped because Sonic looked hideous.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that it's become like this big thing, whereas it so clearly was going wrong, and yet so many other studios, they don't ever listen to what the fans want.
No.
That is like one of the only examples in the last God knows how many years where they actually said, okay, we're about to do something, it isn't working, let's change track. Let's give the people what they want,
And this is the greatest part. Even the original design, the original ugly Sonic, became a star in Chippendale.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh
And they
my
did.
God.
What I love though is because he was
Chippendale,
parody,
that
they
movie
did it
was
without
amazing.
permission.
Also, David, a question about showing clips on the show. Can you show clips without playing the audio? Is that possible?
What do you want?
I want you to show a fight scene from Samurai Jack to let you know that the animation from Johnny Bravo did go to a good place.
Oh God!
I'll get you the clip.
Yeah, find me a link. Right.
Also,
Okay, so just coming back to Sonic the Hedgehog a second, right? You said about Sonic 06. I've said this before on the show. I loved that game. That was like the first Sonic game that was a 3D one since Sonic Adventure 2. I completed it. I got the download content. That was a great game. Right, but okay, go ahead.
The link is
Okay,
there.
Cap. Okay, right.
It's Adult Swim UK.
Yeah.
Adult Swim, they're definitely going to brutalize me for playing something. Right, but
Put
we'll
up the
bring it
shield.
Make-
Put up the shield.
I'm going for the shield. I wish there was just like a hotkey I could press to get the shield up. It's always such a pain. It's on a different screen.
Control Alt Delete.
So, okay, so there's the shield.
I don't think that's strong enough.
Okay, it's coming up with an
I don't
advert.
think that's strong enough.
So because we can't hear it, we have to.
Yeah, we'll have to. I think it is strong enough because literally they're just trying to detect stuff like a thumbprint. So this interrupts the lines.
This is the
Okay,
same
I don't
guy
even know
who-
what the hell I'm looking at. These meant to be people.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they're minions of a evil wizard thing, but yeah, kind of people too. But what I'm trying to say is that this is the guy who made Powerpuff
They're not
Girls,
yellow.
Dexter's Laboratory, and he's the one who also did this with that animation.
How long does
Cat,
this last,
they-
Cap? It's
Wasn't
4
it
minutes and
surprising?
41. We can't sit there for that long.
Just appreciate it.
No. Okay,
Right,
so-
okay, so I'll bring it up to this bit. I mean, look, the
Keanu
choreography is
Reeves.
good. You know, the animation is smooth, but
This
it
is just John Wick.
and look, this is nothing like Johnny Bravo. What are you talking about? The
Yeah, but it's
proportions
the
on
guy.
characters-
It's the same
Okay,
guy, and it's the same animation, just evolved.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, he also did Primal as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really good.
he's the guy who
No,
did
look.
Primal.
Other than the fact, well, look, here's a couple of issues with these characters.
Dave, don't pause
no
there.
one
Don't
could
pause
ever
there.
dress up as them ever, because look at the waist. Look, what is this? Like, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what it is,
Look
David.
at any
It's a
comic
very
book
simple
from the
answer.
90s.
It's a cartoon. Okay?
Yeah,
They don't
okay.
have to be accurate.
Look, real Ghostbusters, Tom and Jerry is accurate. I'll put it like that.
No,
Now-
Tom and Jerry is only accurate in the context of pain.
Yeah, I love that.
But guys, I also have to think I recently watched the Roger Rabbit film, right? Even
Oh,
though
it's so good.
the actors are acting to characters who are not there, but they're acting it in a such good way, it does feel like they're really talking to these characters and like interacting with them. But all the movies that like the 2D and the Human Smash movies that came out, like especially the Tom and Jerry one that recently came out, the actors like they have no idea how to actually use their imagination to act with characters that are not there. They're very horrible at it, and these are good actors who grew up with cartoons because they're the younger generation.
So, for example, for the Roger Rabbit movie, I know that the guy that was the voice for Roger Rabbit wore a rabbit costume and would walk around the set and would stand in like in a green screen like costume.
I need to get this photo up.
where Roger Rabbit would stand and he would like just stand and interact with the character as Roger Rabbit.
But I would say in that regard, because Roger Rabbit talks, and in Space Jam as well, you got like all the characters talk. It's easy to do that because you have something, maybe the voice actor be there, so you have them to bounce off. But in something like Tom and Jerry, Tom and Jerry don't talk, so you have nothing to work with. There's no way you can visualize.
Yeah,
Tom's what. There's no way to see it until after the fact, because everything else is all a practical effect. Like if Tom jumps onto a desk, you'll see like the practical effect of papers flying everywhere. But it's different to having something
that's a really
physically
good point.
there.
Yeah, they don't have dialogue to respond to in the same way.
Yeah, but like guys, like they kind of, even the Space Jam one, right? I love it, but Michael B. Jordan also is not giving you the best performance like in Roger Rabbit. He's basically acting the thing.
That's not the point, Cap. I wasn't making the point. The acting was spectacular. I was saying the point about the character being there or not.
Wrong Michael
God,
Jordan.
you're such a child.
Wrong Michael Jordan. You said
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay, guys, something I wanted to bring up. I put it in the title of the episode. We've got a few minutes left. Well, actually, next show isn't on for a while, but guys got to eat, right? So we've got a few minutes left. So
I did.
apparently Ian McKellen may come back to play Gandalf in the next Lord of the Rings film that I'm making. I'm all in favour of that. It's a character which literally he can age into it, and I think he'll still do a good job. But he says that there is a time limit on it because they've basically he said in some interview that like they've contacted him saying we'd like you to come back, but they haven't got a script for him yet, and they need to make this happen. I read one thing I'll say on it further is that like there's this animated film that we mentioned. What is the animated one that's coming out at the end of the year called? We mentioned it a week ago.
War of the
Rohirrim, right? So with this, with the terrible stuff, I'll get into Rings of Power next week because we're running low on time.
Family of orcs.
But basically, are saying we need to reinvigorate Lord of the Rings, and it's so funny them saying that when Lord of the Rings came back in a big way with Amazon, but they've literally damaged the brand. You know. But anyway, go ahead.
I can't pull a straight face when you said that.
Regardless, no, I'm not saying that it was successful, that it's good, but they spent like $1 billion making this thing. And
they did the same for Halo, David, and they didn't go anywhere either.
They're damaging stuff. They're damaging it. And so the animated film, I think, because like the stuff that they'd said that they ghosted Peter Jackson, like the Amazon people did. They literally reached out to him. He was like going to speak to them, and then they ghosted him. And I think somewhere along the way, Warner Brothers, because it took them 10 years to be able to do The Hobbit because the rights being in different people's hands. And so they were probably like, right, the rights for this have been sold to Amazon. We all need to sit down. All of the ring bearers, all of the people that have any rights to any Lord of the Rings, we'll sit down, we'll make an agreement and have this shared vision. And then they did their own thing. And I think Warner Brothers sat down with Peter Jackson and saying, look, this thing has been making us millions for the last 20 years, and now they're killing it. We need to revive it and show people that it's still good.
I think that's a good idea. I wish more studios had like some sort of rights to different IPs, and that would turn out to be pretty good. Like Star Wars somehow got like somewhere else. They're like, oh, you're damaging the brand. We can give you a good one. If that happened, it would be good.
Well, yeah, like, you know, even what we were saying earlier about Sony and like them having like a share in Spider-Man and stuff like this. It like they didn't work it out where they'd cross over with Wolverine and stuff like this, even if they potentially had that inkling that, oh, this is something we could do. But it eventually meant that there was the willingness, and it did happen. And everything they did with Spider-Man going into the MCU has been fantastic. And it's just a case of because like the biggest example of this, other than perhaps Lord of the Rings, was the Hannibal Lecter stuff. The guys who made the TV show Hannibal had got the rights to the book Hannibal Rising, Manhunter, and Hannibal, but didn't have the rights to the Silence of the Lambs. And the people that had the rights to the Silence of the Lambs said, no, we're making our own series called Clarice. And basically it meant that if a character originated in the books that they've got the rights to, they can use them. If a character, even if they were in the book that they've got the rights to, if it didn't originate in the book that they've got the rights to, they couldn't use it. So it meant that they could never do the Clarice, that Silence of the Lambs story in Hannibal. And literally it meant in the series Clarice, they could never use Hannibal Lecter. Because they wouldn't work together. And eventually, I've never even seen it, but they did do a Clarice series that completely bombed. And with Hannibal, they were always... when they ended it, it wasn't doing the greatest in the ratings. But they were like, there's the potential to continue it, but if we don't continue, we have an ending that we'll be satisfied with. But literally, they did all of the material up to Silence of the Lambs, and they were like, are we going to figure out a deal? And then the other guys just wouldn't allow it. Dave?
Yeah, I was going to say, for like Lord of the Rings and that, like we were saying, like why didn't they collaborate together? And you're right, so because I assume that all the rights to Tolkien stuff is still in the Tolkien estate. So you have stuff like the Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and you know, Amazon had the keys to the kingdom to create. Oh, we can do a series showing up to the ring being missing. You know, we can show what Sauron did in, you know, his manipulations in manipulating the elves, the dwarves, and the men to take the rings from there. But they didn't. Instead, they made a Game of Thrones inspired thing. Yeah, I mean, as much as I sort of dislike the game Shadow of Mordor, or that kind of filled in the gaps better than Rings of Power did. Even though you only see bits of Sauron in his elven form with Celebrimbor making the rings, that explains a lot more than Amazon ever did, making Sauron actually look like an ethereal being, as opposed to just some bloke on a boat who just said, you know what, I'm going to reveal myself right fucking now, and then everybody's going to know, and then no one will trust any... if it was me, and I met this guy on the boat, and he told me I'm Sauron, I would then go to every single person I know in Power and Middle-earth and go, guys, this bloke, don't trust any mysterious strangers that appear in Middle-earth from this day forward. I mean, no, the wizards are not even here yet. You know, they arrive after Sauron is gone. The first time.
Dave, you just go and go, that guy.
There you go, that's him. He's just there in Rivendell, and he just turns up and goes, that's him.
Yeah. No, I'm
but
really
also,
hopeful. Go on,
I also have to add a point with Dave that said, like, with the game Shadow of Mordor games. But I think they were also a partner of Warner Brothers, I think. That's why they tied it to movies. They were like, the movies are great, we're doing this, but we're going to tie it to that. We're not going to make this a whole separate thing. They also wanted to add, like, Amazon and also Netflix ruined fantasy stuff. Netflix did The Witcher, and they fucked it up so bad, and Amazon did Rings of Power and The Wheel of Time, and they just, like, completely ruined fantasy. Netflix kind of has the animated thing going on. I don't know who's producing. Yes, The Witcher, yes! It's such a good thing. Like, other than right now, HBO coming out and doing House of the Dragon, they almost killed the fantasy by producing terrible shows. So, again, the HBO is also kind of a finicky thing, because, like, they do it at first, and then they kind of ruin things as they go along. But again, House of the Dragon is the only thing so far has saved fantasy, at least a little bit.
Yeah. Dev, you wanted to come in on this?
Yeah, I want to say Sandman was good.
That was comics.
Yeah.
That was comics.
Yeah, but it's still fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the elves and the swords and that kind of Dungeons and Dragons stylish fantasy. It's more like, you know, the reality bending, that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the things is that we always get, like, the industries just follow trends. So, like, amazingly coincidental timing that we got the Harry Potter movies and Lord of the Ring movies debut at the same time. And that meant that suddenly wizards and fantasy and stuff like this was suddenly everywhere. And then a short while after, suddenly it was like, vampires and zombies were suddenly a thing. And so there were all these clones and rip-offs, and everything was trying to be like Twilight. And with then, like, the TV series, what then started happening is you got The Walking Dead and you got Game of Thrones, which brought something that felt like a movie in terms of budget and presentation and writing and acting to the small screen. And then, unfortunately, just after those things were at their peak, we suddenly got streaming. So everyone was like, we need the next Walking Dead. We need the next Game of Thrones. And so that's what they did with Lord of the Rings. And the thing about the Lord of the Rings, Amazon, they, like, I think, Dave, you mentioned earlier about, like, you know, if the Tolkien estate have the rights to the whole thing, they don't. They sold the rights to The Hobbit for film. They sold the rights to The Lord of the Rings for film. And it's a similar Spider-Man deal. I don't even think that they have to produce something to keep it. But basically, they're not just licensed out, they're gone. So that's why Tolkien's estate was so bitter, saying, well, when this was sold, there was not VHS. There was not DVD. There was not streaming. There was not video games. There's all these things that you're taking 100% money on that we're not getting cut in on. When it then came to Amazon, now obviously Christopher Tolkien passed away, and then suddenly his insane nephew or whatever that was like the one that's got no talent or whatever the story is behind him probably gets sued for this. So I don't know. This is just what I'm reporting, right? But anyway, so whoever then sold the rights could only sell the rights to like the appendices of certain books and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's why in Rings of Power you have half-orcs instead of hobbits, and that's why you have we can't call him Gandalf, and the continuity and everything is so bad. Have we just lost Gerald?
Yeah, he's had to go.
Oh, okay, right. But also, we'll wrap in a second anyway. But also, that's why in The Hobbit, they were like, oh, there's the company of 5 wizards. And I can't remember their names because literally they came in the appendices that they weren't given the rights to. But go on, Dave. Go for it.
I was just going to say, like, what we were saying with something like, I think Kat made a point at how they screwed up these stories a little bit and how I would say in retrospect, something like the early days of The Walking Dead and definitely like the early seasons of Game of Thrones, they had the luxury of the comics or the books were still being made at that point. So then they did do their, like, especially The Walking Dead, they did their own thing, but at the same point they still kind of followed what was before.
Yeah.
But then when they wrapped up the comics or the books, and like I think Game of Thrones is still ongoing.
They haven't finished it.
No, so that's still ongoing. But in the terms of like The Walking Dead, that finished, and the series like, right, well, our show is popular. Let's see how far we can keep going with it. And I think they fall into their own trap, as it were. Like, they do take a lot of creative liberty with, like, I never watched Game of Thrones up to the end, so I've not even started it.
Yeah.
But I think hearing what people say about it, like, they're taking way too many creative liberties with these stories to try to say, oh, we're just going to wrap it up, any old way. We don't care how we do it, we're just going to finish it somehow.
With Game of Thrones, there's like 2 more books to come out that have been like on hold for 11 years.
I think 3.
Or maybe 3, but it's been on hold for 11 odd years or 12 years now, whatever it is, ongoing. And so it was, for years they were saying, well, what happens when if the books don't come out and you catch up in the TV series? He's like, I will tell them the story. But the problem is he's clearly got writer's block. And probably the pressure of it's catching up, it came out in a way that didn't satisfy anyone. Anyway, guys.
Although David, I would add that he kind of had a little bit of help. Like, they did the TV show and they did it terribly, and he's like, that's what I shouldn't do. Maybe I
can fix it now. Right, guys, we're gonna wrap things up here. We're gonna do our outros round. And where can the people find you, Capife?
You can find me on Swordbeats, where I think that's a number 7 bucket, and I work with puppets. And recently I uploaded a video of Scar and Mufasa reacting to the Mufasa trailer. They have some words, so go check that video out. And also my recommendation, I recently saw a movie called Whole New World. Again, it's a movie about Robert E. Howard, the guy who wrote Conan the Barbarian and all sorts of like the gritty fantasy stuff. It's not very action oriented, but it kind of gets into he's us in every way, guys. He like talks to while he types. He like fist fights in the roads where he imagines stories. He's every improviser you can think of. So it's a good film that if you're interested in the sword and sorcery genre and the origin of that guy, so go check that film out. It has Renee Zellweger. She's hot. Go check it out.
Okay, Dev. Just before I come to you, I've just seen the thing that you shared. Is this the? Let me bring.
Yeah,
this up.
it's a deleted scene.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
God, that's hideous.
No, they should have put it in there.
But the guy is awesome. He's British.
That looks more like the guy who played Sabretooth in X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
It's like, would you prefer someone rougher? And change it into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Sabretooth.
That's okay.
Yeah, but guys, no matter what Pedro Pascal or whoever that guy has always been the best Mr. Fantastic. You'll agree with it in 20 years.
Okay, Dev.
You can find me on TikTok and Twitch under my name, FWDAT.
Okie dokie. Dave.
You can find me here on Geek Battle and Extreme Improv on various shows. You can check out my YouTube channel, Dave MC Gaming, where I do Let's Plays and Let's Builds. I have a Discord server, which is Dave MC Gaming server. Go check out the YouTube channel. We've just started Outlast Whistleblower DLC. We have Resident Evil, which is starting at the beginning of October, leading up towards Halloween. There is no Leon, so Capothev, calm down. But also on the Discord server, we will be doing live videos in the next few weeks.
Amazing. So, for me, my name is David Pstansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pstansky. Check out all things Geek Battle on all of the social media platforms. Once again, you know, I'm going to put in these slight teases because it's going to be a week or two away from the rebirth of all of the shows. So, Geek Battle, Slam Jam, and Extreme Improv. Everything's getting a new lick of paint, new formats and stuff like this.
Disney reboot or good reboot?
A Disney reboot. It's
Wait,
definitely.
we're going to live action. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're going to live action? What?
Yeah. So anyway, oh, and if you're watching this, speaking of live action, so a week tomorrow on the 12th of September, there'll be a live Geek Battle on stage as part of the Extreme Improv monthly show. It's going to be it's going to be about a half an hour of geek fan fiction live on stage, where we're going to butcher stories. Right, but with this, until next time, stay safe, always stay extreme, live long and prosper, may the force be with you, and ciao for now. Boom. Love the app.